Welcome to the Wild Remedies podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Ancora, and I'm here to bring you captivating stories from some of the most fascinating people I've connected with on my own journey of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Wild Remedies podcast. Today's episode's pretty special. I am chatting with Kerri Hummingbird, who is a #1 international best-selling author. We're discussing her book. You can see me holding it up if you're watching the video. You can see it has been well used, well loved over the past few weeks. Her book, Inner Medicine. She's written a few books. A couple of them I'm really interested in reading still. But this one I heard her talk about on another podcast, and I was like, ooh, this is great. I need to pick it up. And it is great. It had me crying in like the first couple of chapters, had some really big aha moments, which we discuss on this podcast. And a little bit about Kerri. She is a medicine woman, a mother, a mentor, and she's the founder of Inner Medicine Training, which is a mystery school that shares potent ancient traditions from the Andes and the Himalayas for owning your wisdom and living your purpose. So we talk about that a lot on this podcast episode. She mentions in the book, and we all kind of know this, we're currently facing an extinction of our species. If we do not get our shit together, we're not going to make it. I know Dr. Zach Bush talks about, I don't know, this is like even a year ago now, but we only have 60 crops left. And the extractive nature of humanity over the past century or two has put us in a pretty dire situation. And anyone that is connected and feels connected to Mother Earth feels this heaviness, and it's hard. However, she believes, and I agree, and I've heard this from many mystics, that things will be turning around. And we talk about ways that could happen. And it's a lot less daunting than you think. I think a lot of folks, including myself, kind of, you get to a place where you're just like, oh my God, everything's going to shit. I'm just one person. What can I even do about it? But there are things that we can do. And a lot of it is really getting connected to your soul and your purpose, and getting to a place where the soul is driving the bus. This is definitely something that I've been practicing in the kind of mystery school that I have been working in recently. And I'm just trying to get more out of like the mental mind and focus more on the connection between my physical body and my higher self, and to allow decisions and intuition, like decisions to be made through something other than my mind. Most of the time, that's generally where we're making our decisions. And a lot of time that can come from ego. It can come from lack, fear, all of these things. But we need to get to a place where we transcend that, and we're making decisions based on healing and love and inner knowing and all of those wonderful things that are going to help us get to a place that we need to in order to heal ourselves and the planet. So we're going to talk about Kerri's background and how she healed from her own psychological diagnosis. It's interesting because like in this book, she really goes into the deep, dark recesses and shares all of like the nitty-gritty stuff about her healing process and everything that she did. And I'm like, oh man, like I totally see myself in this. Like when I think back to the person that I was, before my quote unquote awakening, like I was a complete shit show. And, my crowning achievements at that point were like getting wasted on the weekends and dancing on the tops of bars that were lit on fire. And I just thought that was so cool. And like, and now I've been sober for like haven't even had a drink. Well, I had a couple drinks, but like have not been buzzed or drunk or anything in like 6 months, close to 6 months. And I'm just like, I can't even go back to that. Like, I can't even imagine, all the excess and the partying and the self-sabotage and all the stuff that I used to do. I'm just like, whoa. And Kerri kind of talks about that in her book too, and how she used to self-medicate and chaos that was created within her family system and all of these things. And, and that's okay. And we have to own those pieces because they are part of us and that's part of our story. And we don't necessarily want to go back to being those people again, but we need to just embrace the constant evolution. And there's a lot of beauty and healing in that. So we're going to chat about her book. We're going to talk about the importance of connecting with your soul to find your true purpose, how to do that. We're going to talk about embodiment, what that really means, the importance of connecting with Earth, right? And we're going to get a bit of a glimpse into the shamanic healing process, which I think is really beautiful and definitely something that I want to be exploring more for myself. Okay, I'm done rambling. Let's get into this episode with Kerri Hummingbird. And as always, let me know what you think. Would love to hear from you on Instagram. That's where I'm showing up mostly now. So you can follow my personal account, magic.maven on Instagram. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what other topics and things that you might be interested in, other teachers that you might want to have featured. Would love, love, love your input. Okay, that's it for now, guys. Let's meet Kerri. Hi, guys. Just a quick PSA to let you know that our magic elixirs have gone down in price and we're keeping it that way. Same amazing quality with real plant extracts and nutraceuticals like the ceramicides in our glow potion that legit plump your skin. And speaking of quality, this is something that is really important to me. And that's why all of our products are crafted with medicinal grade extracts. Unfortunately, a lot of herbal blend brands out there are simply using ground plants that are not extracts. This means that you get very little benefit if you're just blending them up in a milk or a smoothie or throwing them in your morning coffee. Herbal plant medicine needs to be extracted in order to be effective, kind of like tea, which is an infusion, for example. So you need to steep the botanicals in hot water over time to extract the volatile oils that then become bioavailable to your body. So how do you know if a company is using an extract or not? It's pretty simple. They generally clearly state it. It'll be listed as a ratio on the packaging. Like, for example, the 3-to-1 chaga extract in our spiced chocolate potion. We also have a 20-to-1 passion flower extract in our relaxation potion. So very, very easy to distinguish. And actually, speaking of chaga mushroom, make sure that you're getting wild sourced and not cultivated. Otherwise, you're missing out on like the majority of the good stuff, which comes from the birch trees that they're meant to grow on. We use wild Siberian chaga mushroom and it is the best. So extracts are more expensive, yeah, but it's a lot better to invest in something that works than throwing your money away on something that doesn't, right? Rant over. I'm just seeing this so much in the industry right now and we need to call it out so we can do better as medicine makers. And so we're able to make better decisions as consumers. So if you feel called, check out our collection of high vibe elixirs that support your immunity, skin health, and stress levels at wildremedyshop.com.
Hello.
Well, hello, Kerri Hummingbird. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you today?
I'm great. Actually, I kind of feel like I'm on fire right now. I just got back from a really incredible somatic healing experience with one of my shaman people, and she's moving away in a couple of weeks. So she gave me like an extra heavy dose of energy today. And I'm just like, me right now.
Oh my gosh, I can feel it on you. And that's fantastic. You can share some with me. I've been recording my Audible, which is a little bit driving me insane.
I always wondered what that process would be like.
Up until now, before this book, I always did it with a professional. So I would go into their sound booth and then I would record it. And then they would edit it and all that. But this time I'm doing it at home with my mic that I'm using right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the same stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. You have to go through in a sound booth because, if a truck goes by or a plane or somebody decides to ride a motorcycle and gun it, or, basically any noise, and mail trucks, garbage trucks,
Right.
husband. So, oh my God, it's a test of patience because I want to record it with my heart open, and it's hard to do when you're frustrated. So
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I get that.
this is my current soul lesson, I guess, what I'm doing.
Yeah. Patience, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
I'm assuming, is it the Audible for this book?
it is.
That we're going to be discussing today?
Mhm. It certainly is. I'm recording. I recorded the rest of the North today, so I'm editing it today.
Oh,
And then
awesome.
Friday I'll start the East, and then my Audible guy will do all the stuff.
Awesome. Yay. Well, I'm so glad you're here.
I am too. I want to go get an embodiment healing. Like I want to get done with this though. My kids are coming back from summer vacation, they're my bonus kids from their moms, like in a few weeks. So I'm trying to get this one done, and then I want to do Love is Fierce because I never finished it, and I want to get them both done before they come back. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
and then I'm just going to dive into like personal healing, relaxation. I'm just like, just get it done so I can relax.
I totally feel that. I'm going through like a pretty big process of like purging right now with
Well, perfect. A solstice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. It's been happening for the past few months, and like I'm just getting so close. And it was so funny. One of my team members said on our call the other day, she's like, I feel like it's almost like we're done school. Like that summer break feeling where
Yeah,
it's like,
I
we've
want
just been,
that.
like taking all the quizzes and like everything's really hard and we're just like so sick of this shit, but like it's almost like summer break. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling that too, for
I
sure.
feel the onset. I feel it coming.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this year or in a few years. It's definitely on the way. Like there could be some more challenges because I have spoken with some people about the astrology. I'm like, oh no.
Oh,
But I've had that feeling of when's it going to be over? I'm
yeah.
done. Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting very close.
Are we though? Like, is it
It
actually
feels like it.
stuff gonna like chill out? It's like what fuckery is in
Uh,
store for us next? I really hope we've kind of like
mm,
ascended some of that and it's just like more ease and flow, but
well, we're always expanding, and
yeah.
we're on a constant evolutionary cycle. Maybe what could shift that would be beneficial is if we would be able to enjoy the journey. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that wisdom has been out there for so long, but it really is true. I think, especially at this time with the Great Awakening, where most of the card drawings and wisdom I'm getting is like just enjoy the journey
Yeah.
and stop like trying to get there
Mhm.
because that is causing stress.
Yes.
Like literally stop trying to get there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's hard as a manifester because I want it to be done. But
Mhm.
I do believe that my soul guided me to understand this lesson by having me run marathons earlier in my life. Like I ran 2 marathons and I ran about 13 or 14 half marathons because I was under so much stress. That was the only way that I could see the sun shining, is get out of my mind, and is if I ran that far.
Oh, wow.
And I think that that was because I needed to learn this lesson that this thing is a marathon. This thing we're in,
Mhm.
this is not a sprint.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, and it's going to be tough, and there's going to be moments you want to give up, and gotta keep going.
You got to keep going. Yeah.
You'll just get another body anyway, and then have to start all over again. So
Yeah.
might as well just keep going. I mean, otherwise you have to start over again with another whole personality and the whole thing and the lesson plan. Don't do that all over again. Just stay the course.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's been one of the biggest lessons for me, for sure. You know, I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and my astrology, all the things are just like, yeah, you're going to have a lot of like lows in your life, but they're going to be really big highs as well. And so you just need to learn to like transmute that shit and like still find joy through the lows. And this last period that I've been through, like, I think for most people, they'd probably have a full-on mental breakdown. And I'm just like, I'm fine. Some days are shitty, but I'm just like, no, there's great. There's other things that, to be created and there's things to experience. And there's still nature everywhere. And I can go connect with the flowers and the trees and all of the things, like all of that stuff still exists. And the bullshit that's going on in, the constructs that we've made through society really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's all human stuff. I mean, when you spend enough time in nature, you realize most of the problems we face are ones we created. Through our stories, through our mind, through our behavior, through our societal creations, through, whatever we thought was going on. I mean, the chaos is humanity. It's not the earth. The earth is fine.
Yeah.
The animals are fine. The plants are fine. The stones are fine. It's us.
Yeah.
So, stillness is good medicine.
Absolutely. Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. And I want to talk about the book. I want to talk about all the things, but for anybody listening here who hasn't met you yet, let's chat about your background a little bit. Like, what's really cool about this book is I love that you kind of outline your healing journey and the things that you've done over, several decades, same as myself. Like I saw so much similarity in your journey, with mine. Like, we did totally different things, but it's almost like there is a similar path to awakening, and then the different things that you have to do in order to heal yourself to get into a place of like being able to share that wisdom with others. And what I thought was really interesting is in your book, you talk about how, you used to be diagnosed with a psychological issue, right? And how that impacted you, how that like just having that diagnosis changes the way that we perceive ourselves and how you worked through that. And that was very similar for me. I had a ton of diagnoses as well. I was on 8 prescription medications by the time I was 23. I was told you're just going to be sick forever. You have clinical, all of the things, and that's just your life. And I was like, nope, fuck that shit.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
It took a hot minute to get there though, because that diagnosis paradigm, it is part of victim consciousness.
100%.
It is a really seedy, dark alley of human consciousness. And the sickest part of it is that the people that are giving those diagnoses out actually have the intention to be healers and to support people in healing. Like they only go into that because they want to help and they want to serve and they want to lift people. And then they get down this back dark alley that's proclaimed as like the only solution. And it's really contributing to the victimization and the helplessness of people. And it's not really giving people what they actually need, which is skills for managing darkness, which is shadow work, which is resiliency, which is determination, which is coaching, And so when you get tired of like being a victim and wallowing in self-pity and believing a diagnosis that says the rest of your life is just going to be shitty and you have to cope with it, and here's some pills and you can come weekly and pay us for a therapy session. By the way, that lacks a little bit of integrity if you're letting people come week after week after week and you're not helping them get better. I'm going to call your bluff on that. Anyone who's listening that's a psychotherapist, I'm going to call your bluff on that. No. If you haven't helped somebody in a year, you need to hand them off to somebody else. That's a point of integrity. That is a point of integrity, because it doesn't take a lifetime to heal, honestly. Like, I mean, to get to a place where you can navigate your life and deal with life's challenges, the challenges aren't going to stop, as you know, Krista, they're not going to stop, but we can develop tools and a tool bag for processing those challenges that can serve us our whole life. And that's really what people need. They don't need a diagnosis or a label that tells them you're broken forever. No, you're not. You're a conscious co-creator. You're a piece of the divine. You're a God in a bod. You are not broken. You are learning some freaking tough stuff, but you are not broken. And you're not helpless either. So quit that. We're moving out of that Piscean age stuff, like Jesus is the only way and is the rescuer, going to come with a cape and lift us up like Superman. That's not happening, people. And, Satan is not evil. There's no Satan anyway. It's just dark and your light, your shadow and your light, your what you love about yourself and what you hate about yourself. And we're here to work with all of that now in the Aquarius age. So I think it's great. I'm excited. It's difficult transition to stand up on your 2 feet.
Absolutely. And that's something that I talk about a lot on the podcast. I'm like, self-responsibility, people. Nobody can save you, like
we could try, but it doesn't work.
No, I mean, the more entwined you get in the systems, right? Whether it be like the medical system or the government or like whatever that bullshit is, it just holds you back. It really does, and you can't outsource your power to other people to heal you. Like, yes, there are amazing, alternative healing practices and things, and you need to explore and check different things out. But like, ultimately, you need to make those choices in order to move forward. It's really interesting. I was listening to a podcast by this wonderful herbalist who focuses on cancer support. And she's like, it's really weird in our culture how when you get sick and say you get like a cancer diagnosis, in Canada anyway, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but like we have horrendous healthcare here in Canada. Like a lot of people think that it's great, and it's actually a fucking disaster. Like if you get a diagnosis with something, like you might get treatment in 3 years if you're lucky.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. And the treatment's going to be, exceptionally subpar. And she's like, it's so wild that like you get a diagnosis, you don't know where to go for help. So like you go see the first specialist or whoever you are given essentially. And then whatever they tell you to do, you just do, right? Like there's no questioning, there's no options, there's no nothing. It's just like, oh, this person knows everything. And so I'm just going to do whatever they tell me to do. And I understand that, in a circumstance like that, there's a lot of fear and all of these things, but it is, like there's just so much outsourcing of power to other people when there's so much other things out there that are available to us.
But you can also see it as everything is divine and everything is perfect. And so in a way, it's a perfect design, because if you're still being a victim and you're still outsourcing your power, then that system is just going to keep feeding you and letting you live the dream and, live in that fake reality until you go, wait a second, I don't want to just take what this person's saying as true. I want a different outcome for myself, and I'm going to find it. Then you take the journey that Robert Frost talks about. I took the road less traveled. And the reason it's the road less traveled is because it's your road and you're the one that has to bushwhack it, and nobody else came before you for your particular divine, unique thumbprint journey. Nobody else came before you for that because you're the one. So if you don't take the journey, it'll go unexplored. And that would be just devastatingly terrible to have an adventure locked up inside of you that you never go on. Oh, that's terrible. We don't like that movie. I would get up and walk out of that movie. I don't want to see that. I want to see the one where the person goes, I think I know something different. I'm going to go try it and see. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I am the leader of my destiny. I want to meet my soul. I want to take that journey with Great Mother in the mystery. Yes, ma'am, I do. And then you turn around, you do it, and you go, hey, brother, hey, sister, do it for yourself. And because the people like us that we took the journey, everyone looked at us and said, those dropouts, those losers, those fake, those broken people with the diagnosis, those losers. And then when we turn around and we live our life and we actually develop beauty and wisdom and power and grace, and we're lit up on the inside and our eyes are sparkling and we're living our purpose, they go, oh, wait a second. I think they knew something. I think that. And then they start the journey and they want to ask us what to do. And it's like, take the journey. That's what you do. You're becoming you. You're not becoming me. You're not becoming Krista. You're becoming you. So you might listen to Krista for a while and get some tips. And you might listen to me for a while and get some tips. You might listen to somebody else and get some tips. And then something's going to flower. like something's going to flower and you're going to figure out like stuff we didn't even know. And then we're going to be like, hey, how did you do that? What do you, that's cool. What did you realize? And we want you on the podcast. So that's really what it is. Right. And then it's like these many eyes. I love the Carol people. They have all these metaphors in their spiritual objects. And one of the metaphors they have is that they have this band that goes around your hat because you're wearing a hat today and I love it. But they have this band that has little eyes all the way sewn all the way around. And it's to represent the many eyes of spirit. I got two eyes, you got two eyes, everybody else listening has two eyes. We're all witnessing. We're witnesses. We're great witnesses of the great spirit of this divine earth experience. We're witnessing it. And then we're all witnessing it. It's going into the collective data bank of source. And then we get to all tap into that. That's so cool, right? That's how we evolve. So fun.
It is. Yeah. Once you decide to really participate and lead with soul, things change so much and life becomes an adventure, instead of feeling like a prison, it just becomes really fun. And, there still may be curveballs and all of these things, but like you need to have those experiences in order to grow and to become stronger and to be able to, maybe pass off some of that wisdom later down the road to help other people navigate some of those difficult things. But yeah, there's just so much beauty in saying yes to the adventure, isn't there?
Saying yes to the adventure. And it's also terrifying. So, if anyone's like, yes, but it's terrifying because I know what my life is like right now and I know what to expect and I got things the way I wanted it. And this is the tricky part is after you go through your first awakening and you get on your soul journey and your path, and then you're like really in it and you're like, woohoo, okay, I'm there. Everything's working. And at some point, now I'm kind of at that point now, which is why I'm saying this. At some point, there's another wake up call. It's like, oh, there's another invitation here. Are you going to hang out where you are? Or are you going to go to the next place? Are you going to stay? Are you going to adventure? Oh no. And then you got to go through the whole journey again. And it's not that it's bad, but you have this feeling of like, I thought I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not actually, because there's no there.
Mm-hmm.
There's just the journey. And it's like these endless invitations to keep adventuring, to keep opening up, to start with beginner's mind. Is such a powerful teaching of almost every single spiritual discipline is that beginner's mind, to step back into the beginner's mind. Because if you stay too long, if you hang out too long in any one place, you start to get crusty again. Mm-hmm. And you start to get like, oh, this feels like work. Or, this feels like a routine instead of a ritual. Oh, this feels heavy. If you're not growing, if you're not expanding. And the only way to grow and expand is to let go again and again and again and again. And let go of what you think you know and open up to the new thing. And I just got those cards the other night. And the first card was the initiation. You go across the bridge. It's time to cross that bridge. The next bridge, you got to cross it. And on the other side, I said, well, I feel like I'm supposed to draw one more card. And so I pull it and it says joyful cat, which is like, the joyful muse, the joyful expression, waking up in your heart again. It's so beautiful and fun. And the funniest thing was it said like a little cat on there that looks like seriously cracked out and happy. And I just got a new kitten.
Aw.
Like I have this, and I called him Sensei because I know he's a master teacher. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so fun because it's time for that new adventure. And the kitten definitely is refocusing me on with new eyes. Like he finds, I bought him a little toy. He was not interested in it, but a piece of rolled up paper. That is fun. Things like that.
Aw. I love that. I kind of feel, so like this book, your new book, Inner Medicines, you've written a few books now. And I want to know why you wrote this book or like who you had it intended for. For me, this kind of it kind of feels like this is written for people that are kind of woken up during the Great Awakening. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's people who are the only person who's going to pick up this book is somebody who's already gone through the awakening process, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, I want to read what she did, Yeah. And they just want to learn some more, right? or it's somebody who is in the middle of a tumultuous time and recognizing that there is another doorway that needs to open for this to all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's where I was at the end of my last marriage. After 20 years in that relationship, I was down in a dark hole where I thought, I don't even want to be here anymore. Like, what's the point of me being here? And I don't like who I'm becoming, and I don't like what I'm doing. And I just feel icky, and something needs to change. And I don't know how to do that. And the psychotherapy is not working, and the pills don't work. And I feel depressed. And it's like the stuff and the dinner and the wine and all the things aren't hitting the spot anymore to make it worthwhile for me. So I don't know what to do. And, but I didn't want to leave my kids because my kids were small and I didn't want to leave them without a mother. And I thought, I'm not going to do that to my kids. So I've got to figure out something. And that's when I took the great departure from that marriage. And I went out to the mystery and said, okay, I didn't even know what that was, but I was like, I'm leaving. I'm following the signs. I got my synchronistic signs. And I was like, I'm going out into the mystery. That I think is where a lot of people are right now, because we've had so much chaos that's disrupted the normal status quo, the way everyone was just living and for decades or centuries. But, we disrupted it. We disrupted the matrix, and the younger generations have really thrown a curveball into all the structures that their elders have created as the pathway of success. And my generation, I'm 54 next week. My generation were the first ones that went, this is BS. Like, this does not bring happiness. But we didn't realize it until we were in our 40s. It took a long time to realize it. We went through the whole thing. We did the college, we did the house, the spouse, the kids, the dog, and then we got a couple, like 15 years into it and went, this is not working. I am not happy. And then our kids went, this whole system is broken. And then the younger generation went, I'm not participating. So we've kind of like, in the last 20 years, we've gone through major changes on the planet in Western culture where we've all kind of woken up to, hey, this thing's not working. And COVID really, the pandemic disrupted any last little vestiges of us pretending like it was working. Mm-hmm. Because you had to stay home with your kids. You were home with your family. You couldn't escape to the office and make up a story in your mind about how your life was. You were there with your kids studying on Zoom. So you had to pay attention to what they were learning and how they were doing it. There wasn't the teacher surrogating you. You had to actually engage. And, you weren't at your office. So you were out of that mindset. You weren't in the traffic. So you were out of that mindset. So it shifted a lot of mindsets, and it brought everybody back to basics. And we needed that. And the animals were like, woohoo, party, like no more humans. Like they got to go out to places, they got to roam around more, they got to be free, so the whole planet took a breath of fresh air, and a lot of people got depressed, but that's the dark tunnel of becoming that they needed to go into.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people are still processing it. And I find it interesting because it still seems like there are a lot of people that are still wanting to kind of like stay there. Like literally, I driving back from my healing appointment before our call, I saw a guy on his bike with a mask on. And I was like, what the fucking fuck? Like, how? How? Like, how are people still living in that world? Like, I don't know.
He's in conformity mindset. He can't, once they have a rule, they can't give it up. That's the thing. Once it's a rule, it's always a rule. It's forever a rule. They won't stop till the day they die. It's like crazy. Yeah. That's the conformity model.
Yeah. Yeah. But thankfully, I think the majority of us have kind of woken up, or at least realized that there are some things that definitely need to change. You talk about the fifth extinction a lot in this book. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, we've had a bunch of extinctions on this planet already, and I think we know about those, but sometimes we like to hide from ourselves the signs of the next extinction beginning, right? So the other extinctions were based in planetary events. I mean, we had an asteroid hit the Earth, and so all the dinosaurs were killed, that kind of level of existence. But this one is us. This one is called humanity. And it's because we have evolved so rapidly without the foresight or the long-term vision to understand the ramifications of our choices.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that it's inevitable. It's still within the working zone that we could turn things around. But what that would require would be some really ingenious solutions, which are starting to come about already. And people who are woken up enough to get out of their own way to implement them. Meaning people who can not be like our mask guy, but can actually evolve himself with new information day after day. As new information is given to him, he can change his behaviors and his attitudes and his perceptions day after day after day, and stay in a constant flow of updating himself with what is now known. That is a new thing that's coming about on Earth. And the way to get into that flow of change is to become able to let your soul take the wheel, which is why I teach what I teach. Sometimes I was very clear to me for a long time now that my role is to help people connect with Mother Earth, help people connect to these indigenous practices, which are globally relevant, no matter what religion you believe in, right? Connecting with the earth is complementary, with most other religious thought beliefs. So it can work with anybody from any part of the earth. And when we do that, when we connect back with earth, we become part of that mycelial network that the mushrooms and the trees enjoy, which is that they're connected with planetary intelligence. So when we connect ourselves to earth, we connect ourselves to planetary intelligence. We simultaneously then start embodying our soul. And when we start embodying our soul takes the lead. And our souls are way smarter than the personality. So we want the souls in charge. And when we have the souls in charge, things are going to change very rapidly on the planet, because souls are not attached to having things be a certain way. Souls are going to do what makes the most sense in the moment, given the conditions. Souls are not greedy. Souls are not attached to, your next paycheck. Souls are not attached to having oil be the predominant fuel on the planet. Souls are not attached to anything. So what's going to happen is smart technology, smart use of resources, and thinking long-term, which is 7 generations ahead, rather than so short-term, because souls aren't in a rush to make a decision. They're willing to sit and be and connect with the planet and let their heart lead the way as to what's needed. So souls do a lot more listening than talking. So we're going to have that unfold more. And it is already, it's starting to. And we're in the process. I did a little muscle test the other day. I'm like, how much soul am I? And it was 75%. So I still have 25% personality, 75% soul. And that little journey across the bridge is going to be inviting me to let go of the other 25% of personality, I think. So I'm a little uncomfortable with that journey. And, this is where we're at. So I do want my future progeny to live. And so as a mother in this lifetime, as a personality who's a mother, I really do desire my kids to live. And so if that means sacrificing myself to my soul in order for that to facilitate that happening and becoming the way through which this transformation occurs, I'm willing to do it because I love my kids. So
yeah. Yeah, I pray every day that we can figure it the fuck out. It's dire, and it's hard to watch the fighting that is still going on, like
it's a waste of effort, really.
It is. And I'm seeing it so much in like politics and all of the things, like the left versus the right. And so I think the work that you're doing is so important to teach people just how to get in touch with their soul, right?
Because the brilliance is coming from the soul, and this is what in 2019, right before the pandemic started, I was at the Evolutionary Business Council, and they asked me to do a ceremony for the group at the end, the closing ceremony. And so I did a despacho, I did a prayer ceremony, and all these thought leaders and leaders of light put their prayers into the prayer bundle. And then we were in San Antonio, so we put it out on the river. The river floated it down the river, a little banana boat made out of banana leaves, completely biodegradable offering to Mother Earth. And as we placed it on the waters, it was floating down the current. And then all of a sudden it pirouetted and floated back upstream. All of
Oh,
the water was chugging down one way, and it literally turned around against the current and floated upstream
holy shit.
as we watched our mouths open. And to me, I mean, we had a lot of psychics there, and we were all like, that's a sign. Oh my God, that's crazy. And we thought, she's telling us that if we go with her, we're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't, we're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to that, things like that, miracles like that happen every day in my life because I'm tapped into that mycelial network. My heart's open. I keep my prayer every day is open my heart more, open my heart more, open my heart more, because I know the more my heart is open, the more my soul is leading. And the more my soul is leading, the more wisdom is coming through me for myself and everybody else who wants to listen. And I know that other people are doing that too. And so I think we just need to raise our voices together and bring people along into this awakening out of the resistance
Mm-hmm.
to seeing what's actually happening.
Yeah.
It's painful what's happening, and we feel it when we're awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really difficult. I was just recently on Vancouver Island, which is such a spectacular place here in British Columbia where I live. And there's only 3% left of the old growth forests that reside in that area. And like it makes me want to cry just even.
Yeah, I want to cry right now.
I know. It's just
Yeah.
it's so painful to just realize what our ancestors have done to this land. And I actually cried like 2 times just in like the first like chapter of your book. And when you were describing our bodies, right? And our bodies, like we've been disconnected so much and we're so into the mental mind. And this is something that I'm really practicing right now to heal. But our bodies are Mother Earth, right? And for me, I'm just so in love and so enamored with every aspect of nature. But I have like this, there's still a little bit of like this adversarial thing going on with my body. And when you described that, like the body is Mother Earth, I was just like, oh my God, like I just started sobbing. And I was like, oh my God, how did I not realize this before? How did I not realize this before? And it just had me look at my body in such a different way. So thank you for that. I really needed to hear that. And the amount of healing that needs to happen, it's reflective in not only our environment, but our bodies, right? Like we are dealing with so many physical health challenges and mental health challenges, and it's all reflective to what we've been doing to the land. And I think a lot of people now are interested in more of like this shamanic healing and understanding the way that some of these indigenous tribes are able to connect with Mother Nature. I know that's definitely my path and something that I want to get closer and closer to understand in some of those traditions. But the pain that's there too, that still resides within those traditions because they've been watching this fucking happen, right? For like centuries now. There's so much pain there and there's so much to heal. And it can feel really difficult and it can feel like, I don't know what to do next. I think a lot of people are feeling that pain and awakening to that and feeling helpless. So I'm wondering what advice you might have for folks that might be feeling a little bit lost or, you know, any practices for letting that soul kind of come in and take the wheel. I kind of feel like for myself, that's happened a lot. I've had support definitely on that journey. You know, I've had intuitive mentors that have kind of woken stuff up in me and been like, hey, you're close, but like this, you need to look more in this direction, right? And it's allowed me to be like, oh, okay, yes, plants are my path. I have way more connection here than I realized. And so paths are opening up for me that feel very much in alignment. And when you get into alignment, stuff just starts to happen, right? And I think there's probably a lot of people out there that are yearning for that type of experience. And I think if the soul's speaking, it's going to have a lot to do with healing, right? We need more healers and we need more people that are going to be advocates of Mother Earth for the foreseeable future. Yeah. So,
Yeah, absolutely. This is a unique path. To be called to service for Mother Earth is a really unique path. And you'll be guided to your perfect teacher, and teacher, I mean door opener, messenger, spiritual messenger, right? And for me, that was being guided down. Well, I got led to many different disciplines. I got led to Tech wisdom with a apprentice of Don Miguel Ruiz. I got led to the Four Winds, Alberto Villaldo's school that is connected with the Caro, Q apostrophe ERO people, the Caro people in the Andes Mountains of Peru. And that's my primary lineage. That's a very deep lineage of mine. I also got led to the Huixatica people in Mexico. So the interesting thing about the Huixatica people in Mexico, and the Shipibo people in the jungle, and I also work with, and the Caro people in the mountains, is that they are all of unbroken lineage, of medicine keepers, of earth keepers. This is really important because they have an unbroken lineage. They have an unbroken access to the ancestors and the ancestral lands where the medicine is practiced and where the ancestors reside. So they have this wisdom. And we need this wisdom now on earth. So the Caro people are the most willing to share what they know. They are rainbow people, they're star keepers, they know they're from the star nations, and they're really here to support this awakening process. And you'll see them with their little rainbow colored ponchos, and they're very, very jovial, and because they know who they are. And so they're a wonderful lineage to be part of. And all my students are part of their lineage. So it's important to be part of a lineage of ancient wisdom, wherever that shows up for you. And to also know, like, what is your primary lineage medicine? Are you a lineage of fire? Are you a lineage of water? Like, where are you called the most? And this lineage is of fire. And all of my lineages actually are for fire. And my ancestors the Cherokee were also people of fire. So I was brought to people of fire because I'm here to rapid transformation. I'm here for evolution. I'm here for dragonfly medicine. I'm here for, the butterfly. I'm here for the soul. The butterfly is a soul, right? I'm here for that rapid transformation. And there's other lineages that are based in water. So you could think of the Hawaiians, for example, a lot of water, lovely water energy there. So you have to figure out what your medicine is, and you'll be guided. So it's not that hard to figure it out. If you just say, please guide me to my medicine, my fire people and my water people and my air and my earth. And when you do that, you'll be led to a realization, or maybe you'll see something on social media, or maybe you'll hear a podcast, or maybe you'll see a book, or maybe you'll just see a word and you'll go, oh, I need to study with those people. And just follow that, follow that guidance, and you'll get connected in. And the reason why it's important is because as we connect in with that really long lineage, they remember how to connect us back with our own ancestors. So on my journey, that's what's happened. I've gotten reconnected in the spirit world to my ancestral connection. And I heard what you said about the ancestors. And I want to say, we also need to remember that the ancestors are us. Like, we've incarnated lots of different times, and thousands probably. And so we very well are our own ancestors, even in our own ancestral lineage in this incarnation, we could be. And that's the case. I talk about this in the book, but my past lifetime on the Trail of Tears, I was my great grandfather, six generations back, was also me. And so it's interesting, soul retrieval and things like that. You start to realize who you were formerly and then who you are now, and the healing required and why you constructed your life plan that way across multiple lives. Anyway, that's really deep conversation, but that's another thing to explore too, and you get to get reconnected with an ancestor who has that wisdom in your bones. And then you got some power going on.
Yeah. I thought that was really fascinating, the way that you described that. And it makes sense on so many levels, right? Like, even if we're just thinking of epigenetics, like, yeah, that makes sense that we are our ancestors. We're just carrying all of that stuff forward on so many different levels. Yeah.
And we've been learning the whole time, Krista. We've been learning the whole time. It's just that we evolved so quickly that we had greater impact before we developed the knowing and the awareness of the impact. So we need to slow down.
Yeah.
Just a tad and think more carefully about things.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything within me is like, just get back to the land, just get back to the land, live more simply, community, making things with your hands, more nourishing, less commercialization. All of that is just like screaming at me right now.
and rebuilding these natural spaces.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And protecting it, right? Because it's still happening, the destruction is still happening at a very alarming rate.
Yeah, new housing communities out here where I live in Austin, Texas, all the time. I go in the hill country and there's like, well, there's the next new development that we don't need.
Totally.
Yeah, just tearing down all the native lands and building for profit. And we don't have enough controls on that. We need to have way more controls on that. We could reuse what we've already built. We could do a lot of things differently than what we're doing.
Yeah. 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 And hopefully just the consciousness that's coming in now, that's just going to be part of the way that people think moving forward. I really hope. It still feels kind of, to me, sometimes it feels hopeless when you're just seeing all the stuff that's, being spouted through political spheres. And like here in Canada, for example, it's very much like a left-right scenario right now as well, right? We've got the Liberals, and we're supposed to have three parties, but two of them joined together to kind of have more power over the other in wildly, ridiculous way. But, one I used to identify a lot more with, and now I'm kind of leaning the other way, but the other way is also still pushing for more destruction of Mother Nature and more consumerism and more building and all of these things. And so it's just like, where do we get to the middle, right? Like how do we find the middle way?
Yeah, that's the middle way. We talk about in the book too. And that's what these lineages teach us, is the middle way. So to answer your question, I want to refer to another book I wrote in 2019, was The Second Wave, Transcending the Human Drama. And that was a channeled text from White Eagle, who's an ascended master of Earth School. And the interesting thing in that my friend Jennifer Huff contributed, she's a physicist, is that the way that we can be in most service to change the most potentials is by actually doing our own work inside of us, because we are a piece of Earth, and reconnecting ourselves with the matrix of Earth, like really deeply being connected to that mycelial network. We are transforming things by being connected and by transforming ourselves. And that goes into the collective soup. And so we've been doing this for a while, and you can really see the effects of it. It is lifting things quite quickly. And what we can do is then move ourselves, our bodies, our auric fields around other people where people might be of a lower, denser vibration, and then spread those love vibes.
Okay. I love that. So again, it just comes back to like self-responsibility, take care of my own shit first, and then the love can kind of spread from there.
the love will spread, and it is spreading. And it's way more effective than trying to have a conversation with an ego about why the ego should change.
Mm-hmm.
Not useful. Okay.
Totally.
That
Yeah.
leads to debates that are really unproductive. And this is a waste of energy. So rather than that, work on yourself, put your body around other people, intend love everywhere you go, spread your vibes everywhere you go. And then also, you could start dreaming. If you use your sacred dreaming skills, you can sacred dream a reality 7 generations from now in your descendant line of beauty. And the more powerfully you dream that, the more powerfully it manifests. And so you can dream into being natural spaces, appreciation of wildlife, protection of ancient forests and jungles, clean oceans, and healthy, nutritious food, and connection with the land, and gratitude, and connection amongst humanity, and awakened states of being, and love and harmony and peace. All of these things, you can dream them into being in your meditations, visualize them, feel what it would feel like to know that your descendants have a life like that, and just bring it all into being right here, right now, in this moment. And you can even connect with your ancestors, your descendants, 7 generations from now. You can connect with them in dream time to form a bridge of making that happen, because they're way more conscious than we are. And so when we wake up to them, we can ask for their support to pull us forward towards them. So this is how we can work with time together to create this new potential.
I love that. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, especially in the past, there's been so much dwelling on all of the problems, right? And that energy is just going to create more of that. So shifting the energy by dreaming of a more beautiful future is so potent in allowing us to actually get there.
And, keep a soft gaze on, we don't want to lose awareness of where we are.
Yeah.
We don't want to gaslight ourselves.
Totally.
We want to dream the new dream, but then keep a soft focus on this. Keep your focus on the potential, keep a soft gaze, and just do what you can, to clear that energetic as you find it, with your intention, with your sage, with your tobacco, with your feathers, with your crystals, just clearing that, not giving it your full attention, just on the side, just, okay, I feel that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The word embodiment keeps coming up for me. Is that what you're referring to when you're saying plugging into the mycelium? Is that embodiment? What is embodiment to you?
Well, I want to go back to what you said, because you said, I realized that I was neglecting my body, and then I realized my body was earth. So ultimately, many of us chose to come here to this planet as souls, but then didn't really fully mean it, or got here and went, ew, ow, ooh, that's dense. Ew, I don't like it. Ew, I don't want to feel that. Ooh, and then we kind of kept a little finger of our soul in the body, but didn't really get all the way in. And, want to float up in the sky and just kind of be up with the upper dimensions all the time, just kind of playing in the upper dimensions, but ignoring the body. Yeah. So if you want your manifestations to work, you actually got to get in the body all the way down to the toes. And if you want to evolve your consciousness, the earth is the way, your body is the way. It's not up there in the ethers. It's actually here in the body. It's the awakening of the compassionate heart. And you can't have a compassionate heart if you don't feel the pain. And so the compassionate heart is the awakening. That is it. And that means being human and getting all the way in your body and being human down to your toes, all the traumas you experienced, all the past life traumas you experienced, all of the disappointments, all of the depression, all of the hatred, all of that, I don't want to be here, this place sucks, all the judgments, all of that is part of your embodiment process. And that's the shadow work. When you bring your light into the density of your human form, what happens is that you become soul embodied. That's why it's telling you I'm 75% soul and 25% personality. It's because there's some stuff I still haven't addressed. I still haven't worked through it all the way yet. There's some resistance I have, or like this feeling lately of, when is it going to end? Like, this place sucks. I've been doing this for so long. Like, when's the light at the end of the tunnel? I want to be finished. I've been here for thousands of lifetimes. This deep, just desolate feeling of like, this just isn't ever going to end. That feeling is part of the embodiment process. It's a full acceptance, allowing, accepting, embracing the whole totality of your human experience up until now, which is arguably thousands of lives, as well as your ancestral line, which you're a part of, the latest part of the fractal. So that fractal is healing, it's coming back into unification, and it's unifying through you, which is why you experience the resistance, the friction, the discomfort, the interment, is because the fractal of our ancestry is healing through our bodies, through our bones, through our experience, our breath. And that is uncomfortable. And this is the pathway to becoming an awakened human. This is the only way to get there. To be it is to do this path, walk the path. And that's the middle way. So all of it is, it's like embracing all of our shadow alongside all of our light, embracing our hate right next to our love, embracing our depression right next to our elation. It's willing to let all of it flow through you unrestricted. That's where we're going. And that is the Homo Luminous. That's what leads to the awakened state, the rainbow body, the luminous one, the higher consciousness, knowing that all of this is for you, as you, through you. You don't need to push any of it away or resist any of it or dampen any of it or deny any of it. That's the full flood through becomes your awakening. And getting there is tough because we have resistance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An example of that for anyone listening is like, for me, I would say, is trying to find like this acceptance in my healing journey. The healing session that I was just in while I was having Reiki done, my healer, she was like, I saw you in my mind, and we were sitting by a pond, and I looked at you and I said, do you love yourself? And I looked at her when she told me this, and I was like, what did I say? And she shook her head. And I was like, fuck. Yeah, I know. I'm still struggling with that. And for me, it's this, again, sort of this adversarial mindset that I've had with my body, because I came out of the womb in pain, in immense physical pain. And I've been physically, emotionally, all the lower densities for over 30 years, and it's getting lighter, but it's just a little thin layer at a time, right? And it's taken a long time, and it can be really frustrating. And I'm like, when is this ever going to fucking end? Like, am I ever going to have a day without pain or without having to push through some sort of exhaustion or discomfort? Like, it's the physical experience for me has always been just gritting my teeth and getting, trying to bear it. And some days are a lot better than others. There are way more good days than there are bad days these days, but I've had setbacks. It gets really good, and then something else comes crashing in to hold me back. And some things have shifted recently where I do feel a lot more compassion, and I'm looking at myself a little bit differently. And I think even that realization from your book, reading that, has really helped. But it's a process, but I'm working on it every day. Every time you have like a thought or a judgment, just even noticing it, if you can notice it and reframe it, or just say, okay, I did that again. gonna work on that. Yeah, but I get that for sure. When is it gonna end?
There's a beautiful metaphor that I think speaks to this. And it's when you have like really dry soil, it's all caked, and you pour water on it. The water runs off at first. Like it just cannot receive that water. It just can't. But if you keep pouring the water, eventually some of it will soak in. It'll start to soak and it'll start to receive. So you're exactly right. It's like we need to keep pouring the water in because there's parts of us that just don't want to receive the love, don't want to receive this human experience, don't want to receive any of this. But as we bring the love layer by layer, the resistance removes, and then the water can penetrate deeper. And, some students ask me, like, how many licks to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? And I'm like, well, that's really up to you. I mean, your soul has a plan. Your soul has a way that they want to move through this experience. Some people go through a radical, life-changing, near-death experience, totally dramatic experience where they leave the body and then the soul comes in, right? Other people peel back layer by layer by layer like you're doing. And so this is the path that you chose to have in this incarnation. And so I think trusting the process, allowing, accepting, and embracing everything that's happening is the biggest medicine. And it's not easy. And I honor you for taking the journey you're on. And I hear you when you say it's hard, and it's been hard for 3 decades. That's a long time for it to be hard. And there's medicine in that too.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And for anyone listening, we get it. I get it. And I really feel like this is the gift for me in the pain, is the ability to deeply understand the suffering of others.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know what it's like.
You sure do. Like really fully.
Yeah.
Embodied.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like I know the pain of, mental illness. I know the pain of that track of our collective consciousness going into feeling like you're broken or crazy or bad or something. And then it's like, I know that experience. I know the experience of not knowing what the truth is and having to discern it. We've all gotten a taste of that with pandemic. Yeah. So yeah, we're all moving through this together. It's also like we're having a collective movement. So it's not even so much an individual awakening. It's a collective garden of awakening. So all of us are experiencing it in a slightly different way, but it's Mother Earth moving through us to wake us up.
I love that.
And there's nobody ahead. My son said this to me. And so I want to share it here in case anybody else feels this, but he's like, I feel like I'm getting left behind. Like I'm not on track, or I need, other people are ahead of me, and I told him about this experience I had at a river one day when I was contemplating someone in my life who was being very stubborn and not wanting to wake up. And probably we all have people like that. They're very frustrating. It's our personal work now to force them to wake up when we wish they would, right? And I was on the riverbank watching the river, and there was this leaf, and it was charging down the river on this current. It was just going so fast. And I was like, that's me, And then there was this other leaf that was like stuck in an eddy. And I was like, that's that person. And then all of a sudden, I was watching the leaves, and the one that was me got stuck in an eddy. And then that other one that was stuck in the eddy went flying down the river. I was like, what? That's not true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's no race. We're being led.
Mhm.
We're all walking each other home, and we're being led on our path by our souls and by Mother Earth, who's designed a beautiful curriculum for us. And we get to be led home in a unique way for each one of us. And nobody's ahead and nobody's behind. And we're all doing it together. So nobody gets left out, no child left behind kind of program.
Mhm.
We need all of us anyway. We won't be whole without all of us. So we kind of need all of us to arrive.
Mhm.
So yeah, we won't be complete until everybody gets there. So
Mhm.
you can either get there first and hold the space open for everybody else and be waiting and impatient, or you can be the last one in and get to enjoy the ride while everyone waits for you. So either way, you're winning. So it doesn't matter.
I love that. That's such a fabulous analogy. And I think that is a wonderful place to end this conversation because we are at time. And thank you so much for everything that you shared today. So beautiful. I'm so glad that I found that podcast and that I found this book, which, by the way, is like a #1 international bestseller already. Like, didn't this thing just launch?
It's an international bestseller for the last 8 weeks since it launched.
Oh, wow.
I think this week might be week 9.
That's so exciting.
I track it every week. It's one of my little joy. My inner child loves it. She's like, oh, do a Christmas present. Oh, are we still on the charts? Oh, let's go look, see where. And who left me a review? Oh, yay. And I just love it. I let her go up there and just check everything.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, for anyone listening, we will have a link to the book. Kerri, how else can people, like, what other projects are you working on? I know you have like a mystery school. How can people work with you, learn more about all of the magic that you bring to this world?
Yes. Well, inner medicine training is a beautiful program that introduces people deeper to the medicine explained in the book. And you receive energetic activations. The lineage works with you 24/7 in your life with the great mystery to show you the door over and over and helps you out every week. And yeah, so that training is in 3 parts and it's described on the website. You can look it up, inner medicine on the website. And I have a podcast, Soul Nectar Show, and I like to interview awesome people like Krista and have similar conversations. I feel like these conversations are beautiful creation of the fabric of new earth.
Mm,
Every single time we have these conversations, it puts that seed out there.
yeah.
And yeah, I love it. So I do that. And then I write books. I've got other books. The Second Wave is a great one for anybody on this audience who might be interested. That one's been on the charts for 202 weeks, I think,
Wow.
internationally.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. White Eagle, transmitted from White Eagle. So that was a good one. Love is Fierce, Healing the Mother Wound. If you've got mommy issues and you want to be empowered, I healed my relationship with my mother by writing that book. And now we are so tight. It's awesome. It's
Aw,
great.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So those are some options. And you can always get a healing session. I do healing work. I do shamanic healing. Um, I do little mini courses from time to time. Right now, we're doing shamanic journey class. We just did Mama last night with Great Serpent, shamanic journey with Great Serpent to shed that old skin.
Mm,
And, we'd be doing Jaguar next week and working with Hummingbird and Eagle, who they're also part of inner medicine training. So it's kind of like an introduction to inner medicine training. And I do healing journeys. I do Soul Nectar Tribe. We have a tribe. My husband participates with me. We have so much fun doing it together. We have a little Telegram portal and we send messages every day into the portal and we look what people said and answer questions. It's so much fun.
aw,
So we're also doing that. It's really fun. I've never built a community before, so I'm really enjoying this process. Like, how do we build a community? I want to know. So yeah, anyway, that's me. I have fun. I have a new kitty. His name is Sensei. He is a little master and I love him to pieces.
aw.
He's tiny and adorable. You can see him on my social media. And we also have a dog, Amani, not to leave her out because she would really get upset. Kids, dogs, cats, husband, communities, friends like you.
Yeah, you're
It's all
busy.
good. I
I
am.
love it.
My life is full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Awesome. Okay. Well, for everybody listening, make sure you connect. And if this episode resonated with you, make sure to share it with someone. Thank you so much again, Kerri, and we'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thanks so much for sharing your time and energy with us today. We'd love to hear your feedback on how our podcast has impacted your life and are also open to suggestions for new and interesting topics. Please leave your comments with a quick review to help us grow this magical community of wellness warriors and light workers. Every month, we select one lucky reviewer to win our big magic box containing all 3 of our beautiful magic lattes. To connect with us further, check us out on Instagram at wild_remedies. Thank you again, and see you at the next episode.